Good morning, students. In today's lecture, I'll explain Night of the Scorpion by Nissim Ezekiel. First we'll look about the poet. Now, Nissim Ezekiel was one of the significant post independence poet. He was a Jew by birth and he lived in Bombay, and he was born in 1924. There, he attended Antonia D'Souza School and afterwards Wilson College. And later, he went to Berwick College in London. So, in 48, he moved to England. He resided there for 3 years to study philosophy. In 52, he returned to India and he worked as professor and head of English department in Mithibai College of Arts, Bombay. In 64, he was also visiting professor at Leeds University and was also invited by the US government under its International Visitors Program. He has received Sahitya Academy in 1983 and the Padma Shri in 1988. He passed away on 9th January 2004 due to Alzheimer's disease. Now, Nazim Zakil is the author of six collection of verse, and his poems have appeared in Encounter, the Illustrated Weekly of India, London Magazine, and other prestigious periodicals. Now, these are some of the most famous collections of poems: A Time to Change, 60 Poems, The Third, The Unfinished Man, The Exact Name, Times in Darkness. The present poem, Night of the Scorpion, was published in the exact name. Now, if we talk something more about his poetry, we could easily notice a typical Indian atmosphere in his poems. And he writes with an ironical detachment, and he says that most of his poems are written for personal therapeutic purpose. And I also want to mention that one of the significant feature of Ezekiel's poetry is that he constantly brings together opposite concepts, and he tries to unite them. Now these two polarities in his poetry are, you could say, like in the present poem Night of the Scorpion, he has presented two pictures. First, he brings a common, innocent villager's point of view, and then he juxtaposes it with the rationalistic view of his father. Now, this is the poem. I remember the night my mother was stung by a scorpion. 10 hours of steady rain had driven him to crawl beneath a sack of rice. Now, Night of the Scorpion. It's one of the most admired poems of Ezekiel, and it was published in 1965 in the exact name. In this poem, he depicts a typical rural Indian situation wherein the speaker, he recounts the experience, he remembers the day when his mother was stung by a scorpion, and he also tells the reaction of villagers on this particular event. Now, the poem is not, first of all, autobiographical. He has simply depicted a common event, emphasizing pure and true motherly love in the face of adversity. So, the speaker says that I remember the night when my mother was bitten by a scorpion. 10 hours of steady rain. So he says that due to heavy rainfall, due to constant 10 hours of rainfall, the scorpion entered the house in order to find shelter, and it hid under the sack of rice, to crawl beneath the sack of rice. So the scorpion entered the house and he hid under or beneath the sack of rice. Parting with his poison, flash of diabolic tail, in the dark room, he risked the rain again. Now, in these lines, the poet tells the reader that the scorpion, now in these lines, he says that the scorpion actually stung the mother. He says, Now, in the stanza, we are definitely informed about the devilish act. Parting with his poison means that the scorpion injected the poison into the mother's flesh, and now it doesn't contain any poison in its body. Okay, the diabolic tail. Now the tail is termed as diabolic or evil because a scorpion's poison is accumulated in its tail and it stings a person through his tail. So that's why यहाँ पे डायबोलिक डेविलिश को कहते हैं। तो डायबोलिक इसलिए कहा गया है क्योंकि टेल के थ्रू ही वो एक इंसान को स्टिंग करता है, उसका जो पॉइजन होता है उसकी टेल में ही गैदर्ड रहता है, तो इसलिए उसकी टेल को डायबॉलिक कहा गया है। इन द डार्क रूम, in the dark room suggests the performing of this evil deed in darkness. So the scorpion, after stinging the mother, crawls back outside in the rain. Probably being aware of his act, he runs back outside. Now, the next image we see is of peasants coming in like swarms of flies. Now, the peasants came like swarms of flies and buzzed the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. So, we notice a large number of peasants entering the house after hearing the cries of mother. So, after the scorpion stung, after the scorpion had bitten the mother, all the villagers maybe probably have heard the cries of mother and they entered the house. They all swarmed in like bees and flies. They all gathered around his mother and they started praying in order to calm her, in order to paralyze the scorpion, and even to kill the scorpion. They wished, they even tried to kill the scorpion with candles and with lanterns, throwing giant scorpion shadows on the mud baked walls. They searched for him, he was not found. Now, with this image, Ezekiel presents the belief system of superstitious villagers. Okay, now in the previous lines, we say he has mentioned that they buzz the name of God 100 times. Okay, so he says that these innocent villagers they think that chanting and praying could indeed subside the pain. Okay, so all they can do is wish for the mother to bear the pain. They came with lanterns, they searched for the scorpion. They even tried to find him with the candles and lanterns, because it was darkness. And their reflection appeared on the mud walls and it seemed like scorpion itself. ये जो villagers थे वो स्कॉर्पियन को ढूंढ रहे थे लाइट्स में। उनके हाथ में कैंडल्स थी, लैंटर्न्स थी, तो उनका जो रिफ्लेक्शन पड़ रहा था मड बेकेड वॉल्स पे, तो उनका रिफ्लेक्शन मानो एक स्कॉर्पियन की तरह ही लग रहा हो। They searched for him, but he was not found. They clicked their tongues. Now, the search for Scorpion proved futile because he already moved outside. So, due to their inability to find him, the villagers clicked their tongue or expressed anger and disappointment. With every movement that the scorpion made, his poison moved in mother's blood, they said. Now, in next few lines, you will notice the repetition of words they said. Now, villagers they expressed, they believed that if scorpion moves, the more poison will move in mother's blood. So it was necessary to find and kill him. Now they said you'll notice the repetition of this word. May he sit still, they said. उन्होंने कहा कि वो जो स्कॉर्पियन है वो ज़्यादा मूव ना करे, वो एक जगह बैठ जाए, वो एक जगह स्थिर रहे. They chanted prayers, they wished that the scorpion doesn't move. May the sins of your previous birth be burned away tonight, they said. May your suffering decrease the misfortunes of your next birth, they said. So, in these lines, we could easily notice the theory of karma or the theory of reincarnation, okay, wherein we believe that moksha must be the ultimate goal of mankind, okay, and the sins that we commit in this life are definitely paid off in the next. So the villagers say that enduring unbearable pain will definitely burn away the mother's or sins of her previous birth. David says that the pain and suffering of the mother will definitely put an end to all the misfortunes of her next birth. तो जो भी ये पेन है उसको रिलेट करके विलेजर्स बोल रहे थे कि ये जो तुम्हारा पेन है इससे तुम्हारे जो पिछले जन्म के जो पाप हैं वो धुल जाएंगे या ख़त्म हो जाएंगे। इवन नेक्स्ट जन्म में भी जो तुम्हें, अगर तुम इस जन्म में भी कोई भी कमिट करोगी सिन, तो जो तुम्हारे पाप हैं नेक्स्ट जन्म में जो तुम्हारे पाप होंगे या सॉरी नेक्स्ट जन्म में जो भी तुम्हें तुम्हारे जो पाप हैं वो कम हो जाएंगे। सो एक तरह से जो विलेजर्स की थिंकिंग है, जो भी उनकी सोच है, ऑफ कोर्स दैट इज सुपरस्टिशियस, दैट इज यू could easily notice the ignorant notion of the peasants who don't know the actuality of their belief, of their notion. They also says that may the sum of all evil balanced in this unreal world against the sum of good become diminished by your pain. They say that evil forces will diminish through the mother's suffering. So may this pain, may the poison purify your flesh of desire and your spirit of ambition, they said. And they sat around on the floor with my mother in the center. So the innocent villagers, they tried to console mother, to help her to bear the pain, but she still twisted and groaned. She lied on the ground in the center with the villagers all around her, the piece of understanding on each face. Now, with this line, Ezekiel means that the peasants thought they considered themselves wise because for understanding the reason behind scorpions' sting. More candles, more lanterns, more neighbors, more insects, and the endless rain. My mother twisted through and through, groaning on a mat. Now, with passing time, more villagers came. They came with more lanterns. They carried more candles with them, and this, in fact, attracted more insects. And of course, the endless rain was there. But with passing time, the pain actually it never subsided. It grew, and the mother really suffered. The mother really twisted in pain. She really cried. Now, the next image we find is of the father. My father, skeptic, rationalist, trying every curse and blessing, powder, mixture, herb, and hybrid. Okay, so the skeptic is a person who doubts basic religious principles like immortality, God, and rationalistic is who believe in reason, a reasonable person. So next image, we have already seen that the villagers were praying and chanting God's name, but here we find another picture of a father who didn't believe in all of these things, who didn't believe, and he was literally trying to soothe the mother, to soothe his wife, and he even applied some powder. He also applied the mixture of herbs in order to cure the pain. He even poured a little paraffin upon the bitten toe and put a match to it. Paraffin is wax. तो जहाँ पे स्कॉर्पियन ने स्टिंग किया था वहाँ पे उस टोप पे उन्होंने थोड़ी वैक्स भी लगा दी, जिससे कि वो जो घाव है उसे बर्न किया जा सके. आई वॉच द फ्लेम फीडिंग ऑन माई मदर. सो the speaker says that first even the pain was there, and the second thing is that the flame was feeding. पहले तो ऑलरेडी स्कॉर्पियन के स्टिंग का पेन और ऊपर से जो फ्लेम है उसका पेन तो एक तरह से you could easily notice a child's psychology. You could easily notice what was going on the speaker's mind when he was watching all of this, when all of this was happening with his mother. I watched the holy man perform his rites to tame the poison with an incantation. He watched everything. He watched the rites. He watched the uh, holy man who was performing, who was trying to cure his mother, but the reality was not even the father, the villagers, they were not able to cure the pain. The pain subsided automatically after 20 hours. He says after 20 hours it lost its sting. My mother only said, "Thank God, the scorpion picked on me and spared my children." Now these lines, they portray true picture of a mother who always sacrifices her life for the child's sake. Now she can endure pain and suffering, but she cannot tolerate her child to undergo such a pain. Now this is the beauty of a mother, and these are probably the most sweet, or you could say the most heart touching lines of this poem. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.